time. Russ Moore, thanks for coming in. We always
do.
Will I ever remember?
You will. You'll get it.
I'll remember eventually that we need the fist bump. You got preempted last week.
Yep, but I'm here now, and that's all that matters.
Preempted by the treasurer and former Mayor Palino. But you
Sure.
are usually in the #1 slot, talking about all things hot or not. Do you know what's hot? The studio.
Sure. Yeah, it's hot.
The studio is hot.
Let's think cool thoughts right now, like popsicles and snow.
Molly had popsicles on.
Really?
Molly, what happened to the popsicles?
We ate them all.
You ate them all.
Okay.
She ate all the popsicles.
I'm late, so
we're
that's
late.
that.
We'll go out for one after.
Sure.
A nice popsicle after.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's go through who's hot or who's not this week.
Shall
both in Rhode Island and nationally. Former President Barack Obama, you have as hot.
Hot, yeah, red hot, getting paid $400,000 to give a speech on Wall Street about health care. Now, he's been criticized for this, but I think this is a great thing, and I think it's great to be a former president of the United States, because let's face it, who amongst us, if offered to speak in front of a group of people, wouldn't do it for $400,000?
She have turned it down. He's not in office anymore.
We'd probably speak in front of a group for like $40. Never
yes.
mind. Never mind $400.
We might not command the six-figure level there, but yes, true capitalist Russ Moore, spoken like a true capitalist. Let's go down the list here of who's hot.
Go President Obama.
You put Mayor Jorge Alorza on the hot list. Why?
Yes. A couple of reasons. For the second time in a month, he traveled to Washington and he had an audience with U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions to talk about immigration. So quite quickly, the mayor is actually becoming a leading voice on the national level, at least, for immigration issues. And I think that's a good thing for Providence. Also, he submitted a budget without a tax increase, and that's another nice thing for everyone who lives in Providence. So.
No tax increase in the budget. Talked a lot about education spending.
Sure.
Do you think this is a realistic picture of the health and vibrancy of the city of Providence?
No. I think the city of Providence has serious financial woes due to the crippling liabilities that the city faces due to pension and health care liabilities. So
even though, again, a lot of debt, but again, a no tax budget, we'll see what happens there.
So carpe diem, no tax increase this year, live for the year, so we'll take it.
Living for the year. Do you think this is kicking the can down the road?
Yes.
It was this rapid response section.
Yes, I do. I do think this is kicking the can down the road, absolutely.
And I knew this was happening
And he's
today.
not the first one to do it.
He is certainly not the first one to do it.
He's one in a long line of mayors.
I'm aware this happened today. It's Rhode Island Law Day. I actually talked with the lawyer yesterday participating in this.
Yeah.
So visiting 48 high schools and middle schools throughout the state to talk about their careers.
The profession of law, sure. If there's one thing we need in Rhode Island, it's definitely more lawyers. So it's good to get those lawyers and judges out there and talk to our youth about what they do so we can get more people to become lawyers and get more litigation in the state of Rhode Island. No, I'm obviously joking around. It's Friday. No, seriously, I think it's a great thing. They get out there, they tell, they talked about the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. Now, we're talking about immigration, right? We're just talking about Jorge Alorza. So they discussed the 14th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment in large part talks about how anyone born in the United States is a citizen. That's a major issue in the U.S. today. So I think it was a great opportunity for the kids and the students to talk to some professionals about such an important issue and other issues too, I'm sure.
Rhode Island Law Day, again,
Law
judges
Day.
and lawyers
Good
at high school and middle school.
It's a good thing.
Law Day, it's a good thing. Is that their new tagline?
Yeah.
Rhode Island Law Day,
it's a good
thing.
Free marketing here.
Going down the list, you put on the hot list someone you were preempted by last week, General Treasurer Seth Magaziner.
Yeah, why did I do that? I should have put him not hot for making me wait around. No, a couple things. The reason I put him on, he led the charge to vote against all the sitting members of the board of directors of Wells Fargo because we all know that Wells Fargo had a massive scandal last year. It was revealed that from 2011 to 2016, employees at Wells Fargo were opening up fraudulent accounts in people's names. And Treasurer Magaziner is right to point out accountability should start at the top when you have a big scandal like that. So he led the charge to try to fire the board of directors, but he wasn't successful. But it's good that he tried.
Do you think? Again, it was the effort. It's the A for effort. Maybe a political move. Maybe not thinking that anything was ever going to come of it, but just to make the statement.
No, a politician making a political move, trying to get some PR points. No, I don't think Treasurer Magaziner would do a thing like that. He's above that. Absolutely not.
Russ Moore is on fuego, almost as hot as the studio here at Go Local today in this nice heat that we're having here. So let's keep going down the hot list. Of course, Boston Celtics.
Yeah, they were on the not hot last week, so it just shows what a difference a week can make. 3 games later, they're up 3-2, and last week they were down 0-2. So that's pretty hot right there, and I think it was a good coaching move by Brad Stevens to bench Amir Johnson. Ironically, to go with a smaller lineup when they weren't rebounding, but it's worked like a charm. So
you have them on the hot list. Should we maybe call it the Rondo hot list? I mean,
it certainly helped that former Celtics superstar Rajon Rondo went out with a broken finger. I'm not going to say it didn't. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but still credit the Celtics for still winning these games.
Okay, we'll give them credit where credit's due. Celtics fever grips the hub. Let's see who else you have on the hot list here. Children's Healthcare, a recent ranking Rhode Island 7th in the country.
Sure, it does seem like Rhode Island has good health care for all our woes and all our faults. That's certainly something to celebrate. 7th in the nation for health care. Particularly, we have high access to health care for children, so that's a good thing.
Okay, I think we're rounding out the hot list here, and now we're heading to the not hot list, putting a Rhode Islander, Michael Flynn, on the not hot list.
Wow, he seems like he's in some trouble. When you've got the head of the Oversight Committee of Congress, who is a Republican, saying that it appears that General Flynn broke the law by taking money from a foreign government and then not reporting it. And then we learn later on in the week that he was warned not to do that. My gosh, he's got some... So I'll say one thing about General Flynn. He's got guts. He's got a lot of chutzpah. But it's landed him in some hot water here, so...
hot water, but not hot list.
Yeah, not hot list.
Not
sure.
hot list.
That's right. This is not a good thing for him.
Now, you are a Pawtucket resident. You are not happy with the mayor right now.
Well, I think the mayor was trying to kind of have it both ways. In the interview with Go Local, or Go Local reported that he said, as a citizen, I grew up in Pawtucket, I'm against this power plant. But he stopped...
Asphalt
excuse me. I'm thinking of Barville. Thank you so much.
Freudian slip.
Freudian, sure. This asphalt plant. Everyone's against these plants nowadays. But yeah, so, he said that he was against it as a citizen, but he would stop short of saying he opposed it in his capacity as mayor. I think that's trying to have it both ways, so I figured I'd call him out and throw him on the not hot list. We don't like lukewarm here, or I don't like lukewarm anyway.
So he said, for allowing a business to go through the proper channels, but as a resident, he was opposed to. Now, this is an asphalt plant that's proposed
Mineral Spring
on the
Ave.
west side at Mineral Spring Ave that a lot of residents are opposed to and have come out in strong opposition to.
Are they ever? Sure. They certainly are.
So, do you think he should have said in his professional capacity that he was opposed to it?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. Absolutely.
The heat is on. Again, we're talking about the not hot list, but woo, lots of heat. The 911 system, why is it not hot?
Because it wasn't working on Monday night for like a couple hours. It was all over social media. Here's the Pawtucket way to call the police. Here's the Central Falls way to call the rescue. And it just seems like we in Rhode Island have some serious problems with technology. We can't get the UHIP system working. We've got the 911 system down. It wasn't a good situation on Monday night. It was a little frightening. Luckily, it doesn't seem like there was any harm done, so that's a good thing.
Okay, the Suboxone Clinic on Lloyd Avenue. Earlier this week on Monday, Go Local was at the event at Hope High School.
Absolutely.
Where Councilman Sam Zurier and city officials faced residents who are expressing concerns about this clinic. Can you put it on the not hot list?
Sure. It would have been nice if the individual who owns the building and wants to turn it into a Suboxone clinic had showed up to face the music and answer some questions. If this is a good thing, or if it's at least not a bad thing for the neighborhood, you think he would have showed up and kind of faced the music. So I was disappointed in that. Also, it seems like there are a lot of unanswered questions there. And this is another thing, just like the asphalt plant over in Pawtucket. This is something that the residents don't want. Now, it begs the question: are these people just a bunch of NIMBYs who don't want anything in their backyard? But I think there should be some of these questions should be answered, so I threw it on the not hot list.
Threw it on the not hot list. Of course, there's been a lot of discussion and debate as to the nature of the clinic itself, whether Suboxone itself will be on hand there. Now, representatives from the city said it will just be a prescribing clinic.
Right.
But there's questions that, sometimes at clinics there's samples, sometimes initial doses are administered to patients there. They were curious and concerned, I guess, if Suboxone would be on hand there. And of course, there are the folks saying, well, it's a big issue. The recovery community needs locations all across the state. But one of the biggest things that you heard from residents was just the density of use in that area. You talk about NIMBY. They had a variance on that particular, and this is a big mansion at Lloyd and Thayer, that allowed for 2 doctors' offices. So a big concern was, well, is that 2 doctors? Is it 2 doctors' offices? And then how many folks can they prescribe to? I believe they have it's either 2 to 4 parking spaces there in a very difficult to park area.
Sure.
So lots of concerns raised
A
about
lot
it.
of open questions that haven't been answered that should be.
A lot of concerns, and as you said, the owner did not show up. So we'll see what happens moving forward. It was intended to be an open Q&A, but I think a lot of people were left with more questions than actual answers.
Yeah, sure.
So let's go down the not hot list here. You put Ivanka Trump on the not hot list.
Sure. I mean, she has a security clearance. She works for her dad, apparently. She's got a government position. I don't know how that's even possible. But one of the hallmarks of the Trump campaign was how we've got to manufacture things in America. And then the news came out this week that the company that she labels her clothes that makes the clothes employs workers in China, and they make about $60 a week, and they work about 60 hours a week. Not a good look for Ivanka on that front, at least.
Yes, indeedy. So put her on the not hot list. Woo, it's hot here in the studio.
Absolutely.
But you're even hotter because you got a jacket on.
Well, I do.
I got the blouse, you got the jacket. You win.
We're all bundled up.
Russ Moore are way hotter than me today. We will see you.
I don't know if I'd say that. I wouldn't go that far.
Russ Moore, we will see you in studio this time. Same bat time, same bat channel, same jellyfish.
Later.
Russ Moore, Go Local columnist, writes the Hot or Not column every Friday. Who's on the up, who's on the down, both here in Rhode Island and nationally. Always an entertaining read and provocative, if you will. So let Russ know if you don't agree with what he says. He often hears from